Start recording. All right, so I'm assuming Jack will join us.
That's fine. If not, that's
That will probably be it for tonight. Okay, so Kim, were you able to do the voice thread?
I think I commented on this.
Okay, I think I did see yours. Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen. And move that out of the way. So, and voice thread is back up, right? Layla, did you check? You were able to get that?
The voice thread? It's on the
Power School, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Did you end up looking into that? Because I had gone on it last night and I tried to get in, and it literally showed a picture of a cat tangled in yarn, and it said dispatching detangling kittens or something, and I was like, what does that even mean?
That was the funniest thing. I was like, did she just make that up? Is that something you guys say now? I don't know what that means. I'm like not up on the lingo, I guess. No, I did check into it. I thought I emailed you back. Sorry.
My school uses Power School too, like separately, and I couldn't get on like my school's.
Yeah, it was down last night, and then today when it was starting to get back up, it was super slow. So that was, but it's apparently back up running. So you obviously won't be penalized if you didn't get anything done by tonight. All right, so on the voice thread, I don't know, we tried to work with it and get you guys in a group, and I think it maybe sent you a few emails, I don't know. But then we just decided that you guys don't need to make your own slide, you'll just comment on mine, but still go through everything that you would go through. So when you click on the link, it'll pop up, but then you'll just start. Maybe. Technology is always fun.
Oh, it's great.
Hi everyone, so this is our voice thread that we are going to use. Okay, so there are mine, and we have them for each week that we've done it. So then what you're gonna do, you'll just use my slides, and you'll just, down here where it says comment, it'll pop up. Oh, I should probably sign in. It'll pop up with options for you. Come on. So like Kim has already done hers. So like down here where it has your options, you can do like a text, you can do your voice, you can do a video. So that's all you're gonna do. Instead of creating another slide and putting it in, you're just gonna address all of this information, but just based off this slide. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's a little easier, less time consuming for you too. So, and Kim's is over here, and then you can comment on hers also. And we talk about hers as well. So, so yeah, that's where I think we left it with voice thread, and I think we got it figured out finally. Does that sound good? And then if you have any questions, just email me. We did put on there, if you scroll up on here, there is a sample thread. And if you go out to YouTube, there are plenty of how-to videos also if you get stuck and I'm not responding right away back to you. All right? Cool? Okay, so I'll unshare this for a second. That's not what I want. Am I sharing the screen with you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is. There's the button. All right, so this week you guys you didn't have your discussion thread. You just kind of had some different things that you had to watch, looking at genetic testing, engineering, all that good stuff, the ethical debate behind it. So we're just going to kind of discuss that. But before that, does anyone have any current events for me this week?
I have one.
Kim, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
So they actually found out that the Zika virus can help cure some cancers.
Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, because adults have different levels of certain cells than like babies do. So instead of like hurting them, it can actually help them. But they haven't tested it on humans, just on mice and human cells. So it's a while away from actually doing anything.
Okay. Interesting. Is there like I know down in Miami area, there was a huge, Zika trying to, I guess, what am I trying to say? Concern for it down there.
Yeah.
Has that kind of gone down a little bit?
I
We
think
don't have that really up here in Kansas City. We have mosquitoes, but it's not as big of a concern.
yeah, I'm not concerned.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Layla, what do you have for us?
okay, so the one that I had found was on electronic, like, Band-Aids that are kind of, like, controlled by your phone.
Okay.
So you, like, put it on over top of, like, a wound or something, and it has, in these little, like, tiny capsules, things that connect to you, and you stick it on. It has, like, it can have, like, antibiotics and stuff in it, and if you click a button on your phone or whatever, it heats up the little capsules and can actually, like, disperse antibiotics that's in it. God, it was weird.
That sounds
It was like, that's what I was thinking, but it's just like in the process right now. Like, clearly they haven't released it or anything, but
yeah. Hi, Jack.
Hello.
We're talking about electronic Band-Aids. Sounds terrifying. So are they testing it on, do they test that on mice? I don't know.
I don't know. I think they didn't mention a whole lot on, like, who they were testing it on, but it was just a thing. I don't know. It said that they were gonna potentially try and make it so that it could test things, like the pH of your skin and stuff, just to kind of aid in the healing process, just to see, like, what kind of medications you need or something. It was weird.
All right. I'll have to look into that more. Interesting. Ileana?
I found a microscope technique that can examine tumors in like a 3-dimensional way so they can see more accurately and diagnose it better.
On like a cellular level? Okay. Jack, do you have one for us?
I do. Let me get it. Give me a second. I need more than a second, but
Did everybody get their personal statement turned in? I can start looking into those. Any questions on your paper that you're writing this week?
How long is it supposed to be?
As long as you need it to be. No constraints. As long as I would look at the rubric, make sure you're hitting all those points. And if it takes you a page, if it takes 2 pages, whatever it takes. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
What format do you want those in? Like MLA, Chicago?
Let's do MLA format.
Okay.
Yes, don't forget to cite any sources that you use. Jack, are you looking at one right now?
I'm going to my power school I had to do one for our medical class this week. So,
What's your medical class?
intro to med, to cool studies, I think.
Wait, is everybody in class in high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, are you guys all seniors?
No,
I'm a junior.
I'm a
My twin
sophomore.
sister got a cell back.
Okay. I thought I had a sophomore in here.
Oh, I found mine.
Okay.
So apparently there was a lot of evidence that suggested that prostate cancer screenings didn't lower death risks and they caused patients to be very overtreated. And then now the organization recommended people don't get them. But then there was a recent study that now they should get them because apparently now it works. And yeah, apparently it'll reduce their death, the death fatality percentage by a lot because now there's actual medicine and treatments that they do to help prevent it if this were done.
All right. Is that just prostate cancer?
Yeah.
All righty. They're good. Good job, guys. Okay, so this week you looked at genetic testing, editing. You had some things you had to watch. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you guys think of what you watched? Your feelings on it? It's definitely one of those big ethical debates. Where you think we are heading forward? Don't everyone jump at once.
I'll go.
What happens when you meet at Thursday, late in the week? Everyone's done. Yes, Layla.
I'll go. Okay, so I think as far as ethically, I think in some aspects it's fine. So when we're talking about going in and trying to fix diseases and stuff, I agree with it. Just because, I had mentioned, I think last week or whatever, I am dating that guy that has hereditary angioedema. And, that's a genetic disorder that, could possibly be looked into to get cured,
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as the designer babies go, I don't think I agree with that. I don't know. I think that could be taken in a lot of really wrong aspects, and just I don't know. I just think it's very a very materialistic view on having children.
Okay.
I know I can't remember which one. I think it was the shorter guy with kind of the bald head or whatever. He had said, imagine your I can't remember if it was son or daughter swinging on the swings beside, one of the GM babies, and comparing your child and kind of, looking at that other child who's smarter and better looking and doesn't have that nose swipe or whatever, and comparing your child to that. I did not agree with that at all. I just think, I don't know. I hope my parents don't look at me and compare me to other kids, like that. I didn't think that was, it's not like picking a breed of dog or, anything like that. I think kids are a lot different.
Yeah. Anyone else? Well, it's interesting you bring up the dogs, not to compare, but they talk about, these foo-foo dogs that people are breeding, but they don't have the lifespan as purebred dogs. And so you wonder about if we start messing with certain things, is it going to start messing with are there going to be these other side effects that we don't know about?
Something kind of scary to think about too. The lady in one of the TED Talks had mentioned something about, genetically modifying a child to have stronger bones and to build all these different aspects. And that also kind of, not saying that this is something that the government would necessarily think about, But as far as looking at that from like a military aspect, like what would happen if we started breeding like these superhumans, you know? Like I don't, that's kind of scary.
Kind of like that X-Men, like mutated, like
Yeah, like something like that. I mean, I don't know. That's some scary stuff, especially because, you know, there's so many different ways that you could take that. You know, you could put in someone's genes to be really, really tall and really, really buff and really, really strong. Like, and then all of a sudden, you know, you have all these physically or more advantaged people physically. I don't know. It's scary.
yeah. Anyone else? Thoughts? I'm good at waiting.
Yeah, that's
I agree. What?
Yeah, I agree.
It takes away from like the uniqueness of someone. If everyone is super like this superhuman, then no one's unique. You know, it takes away like personal like traits and like outstanding like there's no separation.
No individualism.
Yeah, no one's special. Everyone's just like this like superhuman.
Kind of
So,
like making like that perfect human race or whatever.
yeah.
That's
And
like Hitler stuff.
like the soldier thing, like imagine if every like country was just breeding their own like superhumans to fight each other.
That's what I was saying. That's
Yeah,
scary.
it becomes this bigger thing that you see in movies that nobody really wants. So think about, again, the ethical, like the designer babies versus the therapeutic treatments. Like what's weighing the pros and the cons of those? Do we have a visitor?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do pros for one of those outweigh the others? Because like Layla said, you think about how it's helping with, could help with cancer treatments and Alzheimer's and other things down the line.
I think it just depends on what you're using it for. And like if you're actually helping to treat those diseases, then that's one thing. But like breeding humans is a completely different thing.
Now, for instance, when you're pregnant, they do certain tests to find out if there's Down syndrome. One could argue that that's, ethically wrong. What do you guys think?
I think if it's genuinely going to improve somebody's quality of life, I would say definitely go for it. But I don't mean that in a way of, they won't get bullied because they're short and, or they'll fit into the family if they have blue eyes. I don't mean something like that. I mean like from a 110% medical standpoint, if it is improving somebody's quality of life, I agree with it.
Eliana, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's okay if it's used to like for medical purposes, but not for like to change like how somebody looks or how smart they are. Yeah.
So talking about genetic testing, for instance, there's like genetic tests to see if you're more prone to certain cancers. Would any of you do that?
Yeah.
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 Because you can like take the preventative measures to like, I know a common one that they do is like to test if you have the gene to have breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get like a mastectomy or whatever. And I think that that's a good thing.
So if it came back positive, do you think you would take, because some might think that's drastic measures, do you think you would?
Probably.
Depending on which test you have, it might just mean that you're prone to it.
Yeah, but if I even knew that I had like the smallest chance of doing it, you might as well take the preventative route rather than have to go through it at any point. because the minute that you would find out that you like had it, you would be like, wow, why didn't I do something when I could have? I feel that's what I would think. So I think those tests are good.
What do you guys?
If you don't like them, then you wouldn't do it. Like, it would be your choice not to do that.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the whole thing of insurance paying for it, because those tests are expensive, so sometimes it's looking at it as the have and the have-nots, which is kind of sad also. Jack, what do you think?
Obviously, I think it's good if you could find out early, but I think some people wouldn't be able to take advantage of it, just like you said. So obviously, I think it'd be optional, but if you could do something about it, like Kim said, the mastectomy, then I think it's definitely worth it. To eliminate all chance of it to happen. Even if you have the slightest chance, I would rather do that than get breast cancer and possibly die.
Okay.
I think they can help a lot too, financially too. If you were to put, that big investment in at first for those tests, and then the procedures to prevent whatever, you could have, because, especially with cancer and stuff, you go through your first rounds of chemo or radiation or whatever you're doing, and then there's always that possibility that it can return, that it could come back worse or in a ton of different places, which I feel like down the road could cost more than that initial investment to take the preventative measures that you could have taken before.
Sure. What about, so you get your test done, comes back positive, do you think it kind of messes with someone? Do they live their life differently? The psychological aspect of it.
Yeah.
I would definitely think it would change you, knowing that that's ahead of you. Sure. Of course, then there's, it's interesting because in America, you have the NIH, the FDA that are kind of halting some of these studies, whereas a lot of it's overseas work getting done. So there's that working against us also, I guess, over here. So it's interesting. Any other thoughts on genetic testing, engineering, designer babies?
I hate that word, or that term, designer babies. That makes me so uncomfortable.
I think you said it, materialistic. It's almost like it's an accessory.
Yeah, your children aren't children anymore. It's
it's just buying a purse or something.
Look at this new bag I got.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. It is interesting, where if it did ever move in that direction, I feel like there would need to be some kind of regulations, definitely for, being able to use it versus cancer treatments and other things like that versus people getting out of hand with it. So yeah, it's definitely a debate, that's for sure. All right, so you guys all saw your schedules for your presentations, right?
Yes.
Do those dates work for everyone? I think I had one person that's, we lost track. One person that was iffy on their date, but is everyone okay with that? If something happens to come up closer to it, we can definitely, make some changes. I think, I'm gonna share the screen really fast. Jack, was yours the week of Thanksgiving?
I don't remember. I hope not.
I feel like it was, now that I looked at it right before class started. So I just added this to the bottom of our page, just kind of what you're expected. I just see a typo there. But anyway, yeah, I think yours is Jack. So we could, obviously we're not going to meet on Thanksgiving, sorry. I'm sure you all will be out shopping early. So we can move that if we want to move it to like Monday or Tuesday that week, if you want to find a day that works for you, Jack, and we can do it the week before we can do 2. So why don't you think about that and get back to me?
Oh, okay.
Or you can decide now. It's up to you.
I would rather do it the week before or the week after because we're out of school that whole week and I'm not really.
You're out of school the whole week?
Yeah.
Are you guys all out of school that whole week?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous. All right, so, okay, so we'll move you to the week before.
Okay.
So we'll do 2 that week. You can do it with Cassidy, but to be honest, I don't know if Cassidy's still up in the air. So we might just have 1 that week. So I'll make that change on there for you. So basically you're just creating your digital presentation. You all know what a good presentation is like. If you need to, you can always Google what a good PowerPoint presentation. You don't have to use PowerPoint. There are plenty of other presentations that you can use. But think about what a good presentation has in it. You don't want to be reading off the screen. You don't want to have just these boring slides. So you should make it visually appealing for your audience. You might think about embedding some videos into it, video clips to kind of give an overview. You're kind of going to give your pros and your cons to the good and the bad side of your topic. Let's see what else. Have you guys ever used Canva? This is it's a free tool online, but you can make infographics, which are kind of more appealing when you're talking about statistics. So you might think about making one of those to put in your presentation. You can see how visually appealing they are. Let's see what else. Any other questions?
Do you think you could put a link to that, the Canva or whatever, on
definitely.
our school?
Yeah, I'll link it right in here, so you'll have it for look at. All right. Make sure you're citing your sources. I put APA, but if you want to do MLA, either one is appropriate. I will take either one. I'm going to have you, just like what we do normally each week, I'm going to have you collect 2 to 3 articles or like TED Talk video clips for us to put up for them to watch in advance. And then you'll get out of there. And then you'll provide a couple questions for a discussion thread. Okay, and we can discuss those then during your presentation as well. Okay, so just similar to what we do in class, but you'll just kind of be leading the session. Sound good? Feel like you could do that? Jack?
Yeah.
Okay. You all look tired, sorry. I get it. So yeah, that's your presentation for you. How's the reading coming along? Everyone good on the reading? Jack, you kind of were late to our discussion about the voice thread. Are you good with the voice thread now?
No.
Okay, what's your question for the voice thread?
Oh, what's the new way of doing it? I didn't really understand.
Okay. Kim, were you here? Kim, you were here when we talked about it, right? Okay, so with the voice thread now, you're just going to click on that link and it's going to come up with my slide. Okay, and then you're just basically commenting on that. So you don't have to come up with a slide. You're just going to make your comment, but you're going to address the same stuff.
Okay. Do I need an account to do that?
You do, and I checked with HLC, and you should be good. You just have to, I think you needed to go in and accept it, so I think you just have to log in, and it'll ask if you want to join the HLC thing, and you should be good.
Okay, cool.
So she went in and double checked you all. So, but I think a couple of you hadn't accepted to join. So just take a look at that tonight, Jack. And if you can't get on, shoot me an email and we'll try and get you set up.
All right.
Okay. All right. So that's the VoiceThread. You have your paper due on Sunday. But I think we hit everything. Any other questions before I leave you guys?
I have a quick question.
Yes, Layla.
Okay, so as far as the interviews and stuff go, I know you had said to try and video record it or voice record it or whatever, the interview. I actually called the lady that I was interviewing and asked her if that was okay, and she said she wasn't comfortable with that.
Okay.
So do you want me to
That happens
change?
sometimes. No, that happens sometimes. That I understand that. So if you just type up your paper, I'll accept that.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else having that issue? Are you guys good with your, it's coming up due?
I'm waiting for a response.
Don't wait too long, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, then we're good. I'm going to leave you. All right. You guys have a good rest of your week, all right?
You too.
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.